Hey, welcome to Guitar Knobs, the guitars, gear, noise, and nonsense podcast, hosted today by these knobs.
Tony Dudzik, Pick Guardian.
Jared Brandon One Pickup.
Hey, it's me, Todd Novak. We are super excited that you are along for the ride of the Guitar Knobs podcast. It's going to be a fantastic night tonight because
it's a trip down memory lane.
It's a trip down memory lane,
old school,
so to speak. Any of you who have, if you're a new user and haven't made it a little farther back in the catalog, or if you're an old user and wondering where Mike went, guess what?
I'm here.
He's here.
Hey.
Yeah.
Mike Trombley, Native Audio.
Formerly of Red House.
Yep, Red House Electronics.
That's right. And former co-host of the
Guitar Knobs
podcast.
I was like, what podcast? Yeah. It's been so long. We got to knock the dust off those old episodes.
I'm going to turn your mic off now. So it's going to be really fun. We hung out with Mike at NAMM, and we have actually seen him at a bunch of shows. We do keep in contact with him, but he's a very busy boy, and he has advanced in his career in electronics, and so it's hard for him to get a little time away. But he made up some time for us tonight, and we're excited to have him. It's good.
If he's so good in electronics, why can't he make a robot of himself and send that to the podcast?
Yeah.
Because I'm working on my time machine right now.
Okay. Well, fair enough. The time machine's a better investment.
He's got a girlfriend. That's the real reason why.
When's the date there, buddy? Okay.
Pending.
Anyways, nobody wants to hear about that at all. I guarantee it.
Jared's love corner.
We've got a couple announcements today. Let me first elaborate a little bit on what we're going to do here on this here show. We're just not going to talk about old times, but Mike is going to give us a little bit of perspective from NAMM, from the builder's point of view. And we're also, more importantly, going to find out about his new redirected company and find out what's behind that. And he's got a lot of new stuff coming out. And if you're familiar with his stuff, then you're going to be mighty happy about that. And if you're not, go check out nativeaudio.us. I know that's weird, but just go to .us.
Or Instagram at Native Audio.
That's right. And you can see what he's up to. All right, before we get crack-a-lackin' too deep down this old rabbit hole, we're going to just cover off on a little announcements real quick. Tony, do you have anything?
I have no announcements, but right. I really am. I'm anxiously awaiting your announcements.
I know you couldn't even get it out. Jared,
I just wanted to thank everybody one more time that we ran to at NAMM.
Perfect.
That was it. It was great seeing you guys.
Oh, that's a nice announcement.
That is a nice sentiment. All right, so announcement number one. We got a real great email from Mark Paget, who is a longtime listener and friend of the podcast. Thank you so much, Mark, for sending that. He was suggesting that we should discuss what kind of things you should bring to in the if you're going to the studio to record, like from a recording studio's point of view, like things to consider. And I thought, man, oh man, that's right in line with what I had just been discussing with a studio owner in town recently, although not to the degree that he was mentioning, but I said, wow, that's a great idea. And I think that we're going to try to make that podcast happen. So thanks very much, Mark, for sending that along and sharing your thoughts and opinions. And we encourage everyone else to do that as well. It keeps things fresh. Ooh.
Do studio people like when you bring in like guitars and amps that have ground loops?
We're going to find out.
Okay.
I can't wait.
We're also going to find out what a ground loop is. I'm just kidding. And then also Michael McVeigh and Sean S. They have actually adjusted their patronage on Patreon upwards.
Whoa!
Which is like, okay, I want to make this clear that it is not. It's like, it's great that we're getting the added support, but more importantly, that just speaks volumes to me that we're hitting some things that we're doing it right in some way, shape, or form. That guys like these fellas are willing to say, wow, I actually want to help more. And that really blew me away when I got those messages. I've had some great conversations with them. They're great dudes, but more importantly, I'm just glad that we're taking some boxes off and making things enjoyable for people who are listening.
I think it has a lot to do with the stories that I tell right before I list the names. I think it has
the ones that I edit.
Yeah, those are the ones.
So you're really fast at that too. Good job,
Michael McVeigh and Sean. Thank you guys so much for your support and for all of our other patrons who monthly help us out so much.
Thank you.
We also got a 4 on the floor from Michael Senchuk. And the 4 on the floors, I'm actually going back to all of the executive producers and asking them for their 4 on the floor. So we're going to share those out. So if you're an executive producer from now on, you're going to get to share your 4 on the floor. So we're going backwards, starting with Michael Senchuk, who's a new patron.
Oh,
so we're starting there.
Does that mean I'll be able to read his name later?
You will.
Excellent.
Yes. And so he wanted to pass on the Maritime Analog Valve Pusher Overdrive.
Whoa.
Now,
that's a mouthful.
That is a mouthful. And what's interesting about this one is that the company apparently no longer exists and hasn't for a while, but he says that this is by far his favorite and most used pedal. He said that a number of years ago, some musician mentioned in some article that sometimes a pedal just doesn't speak to you and you need to get rid of it and find those that do. And this pedal has spoken to him since he first plugged in. I'm like, hey, that's food for thought. Just having a pedal that doesn't work, is that useful? I mean, if it's a really expensive one that's worth some money, then maybe hang on to it. But other than that, keep things fresh. Keep them moving. There's so many pedals out there.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
I've got quite a few paperweight pedals.
Yeah? You should give them to me.
Well, if you get a processor, you don't have to do so much.
That's true. Another one from him, Earthquaker Devices Afterneath Reverberator and the TC Electronics Helix.
Nice.
And the Mr. Black Supermoon Reverb. That's like the third mention in a row in a week of Mr. Black.
Supermoon. That's a lot of reverb.
That's a lot of reverb.
A lot of reverb.
I still like Mr. Pink better.
Yes, I know. Again. All right. Thank you, Tony. I think that's it for right now.
That's a lot of announcements. That's like 3/4 of the show.
Well, it's a 4 on the floor on there, too. It's a good 4 on the floor.
Well, that's true. And it's making up because Mikey gave his 4 on the floor a long time ago.
Yeah, that I did.
So, we don't want to spend we got too much stuff to talk about rather than his old 4 on the floor, which probably hasn't changed. Okay, let's talk about what we did in our guitar worlds this week. Spin the wheel of Tony.
This week goes on for about over a month, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Our fine postal service does a lot of things right.
Mm-hmm.
But when they screw up, they screw up.
Okay.
Case in point.
All right.
So I ordered a guitar from...
Unless they're one of our fans who are also a postal service, then they're probably doing it right all the time.
Well, if they're listening to us, they obviously are.
They would get it.
The people I'm referring to do not listen to us, apparently. Yes. So I had ordered a replica of a Dan Armstrong clear plexi guitar.
Mm-hmm.
So it left China on the 8th of January.
Wow.
It made it through San Francisco Customs on the 10th of January, my birthday, if anyone's thinking about it. So it got
across the Pacific Ocean in 2 days.
In 2 days. It flew across.
Yes.
Well, literally.
It didn't float, obviously.
Well, no, it was in an airplane and it flew across. If it was a flying V, it might have flown across by itself.
Ew.
Oh, gosh.
It made it to the Columbus sorting station out by the airport on the 12th of January.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 4 days. China, San Francisco, Columbus. It's supposed to come to my post office, which is 43214. It's tracking.
And then what?
And nobody can find it. So I'm in touch with customer service, my post office, the station out by the airport. Nobody can give me an answer.
Tony, this isn't a tiny little teeny weeny little.
No, this
guitar,
is a big box,
huge, big, giant guitar.
Wait, did it say it was at the facility?
No, it says in transit to next.
In transit
to next.
Also, like wrapped in yellow tape or something.
Oh yeah, it is a giant styrofoam box wrapped in yellow tape. You couldn't miss this. So I contacted the seller in China, and And he said, well, I don't know what to do. I mean, certainly they couldn't have lost it.
Right.
And I said, well, apparently they have lost it. So he put EMS, who is the shipping agent in China.
Mm-hmm.
And that day it blips in Elk Grove Village, Illinois.
That's amazing.
Wow.
So somehow it made it from the Columbus Sword Station.
Tony Dudzik and Elk Grove Village?
No.
Okay.
It just made it on a truck somewhere and somebody just passed it off. I mean, the Elk Grove Village, as I'm told, is near O'Hare Airport, which is where customs is. So I'm wondering if they were going to just send the thing back. But so I get the thing. So finally, long story short,
I don't know how short it is, but keep going.
It gets back now. For the reason I think EMS was involved is somebody lit a fire under someone, and it made it from Elk Grove directly to 43214, my post office, and was delivered on the 4th. So the 1st of February. So more than a month, it just sat somewhere in the United States, or almost a month. It sat somewhere in the United States. And like I said, when the
now you don't want it anymore, so you're going to give it to me.
No, I do want it.
You know what they did, old buddy? They used it for a tabletop in a break room at a postal place.
It could be, or it was like a serving tray.
Or someone played it for a long time.
A cheese board, if you will.
Right.
Yeah.
So anyhow, I'm really happy with the guitar. This is the one that Jared wound a Dan Armstrong style pickup in a regular humbucker casing.
Yes.
And I have to change out some of the parts and things, but it is
not on the pickup.
Not on the pickup.
Yes.
The pickup is really cool. We worked out something where there's a 3 position switch. That's where in the middle position it's full on humbucker. Mm-hmm. In the right position it's just the bridge coil, and in the left position it's just the neck coil. It's a single pickup guitar.
Yeah.
And it's just cool.
That's super cool, man.
And it was...
I'm looking forward to playing that.
It was... Well, it's heavy, but it's... The original ones were heavy, too.
Handle a heavy
I don't think you can handle a heavy guitar. Yeah. You're very dainty.
I've never been called that.
So anyhow...
Cool.
So I guess...
All right, well, we've got 20 minutes left, so Jared...
Okie dokie, it's Jared time. So I've always said... Yeah, I'm not really a big pedal guy.
You used to say that about a year ago, and then you started collecting pedals.
No, I got a bunch of and I don't get rid of them. It's a pedal week this week for me. I got a Beatronics pedal.
Yes,
Ooh. And I got to talk with Felipe and all that at NAMM, and he builds a very unique, awesome pedal. So I'm very excited about that.
You got the Royal Jelly.
Yes, I did.
On whose recommendation?
Todd, I think.
I'm just saying.
Todd.
I can't wait to play that.
And then another really exciting thing is I am trading in the old Red House Electronics for a new
phaser.
That's right. For a new native audio phaser. It's basically the same pedal, but it's the new version.
Yeah, well, it's different.
And it'll have the new brand name, so...
Yep.
I'm really excited about that too because Mikey makes some really good stuff, and I've got a couple more of his pedals on my board. So
that is awesome. Fantastic.
Nice.
Yep, it was pedal week.
Right on.
And that's I've often heard you say that you're not really a pedal guy.
I still say that, but actually, if you look what I have, it's not true anymore.
Yeah, you got a load of them.
He's got a lot of Mutrons, I'm told.
That's true.
I do.
Mikey.
Just this past week, I did a little repair on my Bassman. I have a old, it's like 68 Bassman head, but I just went and just did a recap job because I ended up turning it on and then it was just making all kinds of farting, popping noises. So what I did was
like Jared.
Yeah. And
my Bassman did the same thing.
Oh gosh. Well, then the guy that I got it from, it was probably like 4 years ago. So I was like, I think it's due for a recap. So went and, bought the caps, all this junk. Then I went and started doing the repair. And here, come to find out, one of the power caps just became unsoldered. Like the vibrations or whatever just screwed it up.
Oh, wow.
Was that all it was?
Yeah. So after I, soldered that, it was working fine. But I just wanted to change all the caps. So changed all the caps.
Good idea.
Yeah.
It really is.
Changed all the caps, did all that junk. And then here I plug it in. It's working for like 5 seconds, then it starts smoking.
Coming from the electronics impresario.
Well, I'm like, what? And I was like, I'm pretty sure I did everything right. So then it's the power amp tube that started kind of smoking. So then I immediately turn it off. I started, kind of checking it. Come to find out, one of the caps ended up getting shorted. One of the new caps that I got, it was a NOS like cap, so it was like new old stock, and I think just after time it just crapped out, and so what I did was replace that. It started working perfectly. Then the next day I'm all excited, and my girlfriend comes over and I'm like, oh hey, you got to check this amp out. I got it working. It sounds amazing. Plug it in, fuse blows. And I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So then, so I've already spent like enough time in this amp, and I'm just like, this sucks. And it got to the point where I kind of just wanted to throw it in the corner and just not mess with it till another 4 years, but I cracked it back open and went back to where I think was, the issue. And here, sure enough, one of the other caps that was an NOS cap, there was only 2 of that.
That means new old stock.
Yep. Yeah, new old stock. There was only one other cap that was similar to that one that shorted. And so I checked that one. Here, come to find out, that one shorted too. So I don't even know what the chances are. I don't know if that means I had bad luck, whatever.
So the 2 caps that you bought and replaced were shorted.
Yes, they were both shorted. Luckily, there was no other caps like of that type in the amp, but they both shorted and then swapped them out. Threw the fuse in there, new fuse, and fired it up, and it sounds so good.
You know what Rob Chafe with Mad Cow would say? He would say you don't put 1956 tires from that era onto a 1956 Corvette today.
I don't know, man. My dad, who's a car collector, would be like, polish them puppies up and throw them on.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity,
yes.
what did you put in place of the NOS caps?
So I actually
new ones.
I didn't have because I have another guy who does all my amp work, but because I just don't have the time to really kind of dive into these amps. So I ended up asking him for the caps, and so he gave me the caps. Well, unfortunately, he gave me just enough for the job, so I ran out. So then these were just they weren't polarized caps, so they weren't as important as the electrolytics for the power section. Right. So what I did was I just took some of the old film caps and put them in there, and it worked fine.
Yeah, good.
No noise, no whatever, and it sounds beautiful.
And now you're gonna sell it.
No, I don't, man.
Never sell a.
Who am I? Todd Novak?
I made a mistake of selling a 62 Baseman years and years and years ago.
Ah, gosh.
And it kills me to this day.
You should buy Jared's.
Yeah, I have a mid-70s.
Making it happen.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that. I have a 1970s Baseman with a 212.
But you see, that's a lot.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's different than a 1962.
Yeah.
Just a tidbit.
I gotcha.
It's a little tiny bit.
Well,
what about you, buddy?
All asked, oh, hey.
Come on, man.
Come on, Todd. We only have 10 minutes
so
left.
I had a little show, and 2 things happened at that little show. I got to use my multi-guitar case stand off to the side of the stage. So that was pretty fun. I got to switch out all my black and gold guitars.
How many guitars does it hold?
5.
5?
Yeah.
Holy snap.
How many did you have?
Gosh, dude, I got that
one for each
I'd
song.
have to get 10 of those.
Yeah, I know.
Oh my gosh. And then
such a diva.
the set's only 28 minutes.
5 amps for my 5 guitars.
His guitar tech has to wear white
Rick Nielsen
gloves.
can do it. Why
Exactly.
Can't I? Why can't I? Anyways, it's my rock and roll fantasy. Yes. So, and then another really interesting thing happened. I had the person who was running sound come up and tell me to turn. We weren't mic'd. We just had a PA, and so everybody's just playing full, they're just the amp volume and drum volume and everything. And this person came up and said, "Give me the turn up my guitar 3 times." I was like, "What?
Turn up your guitar?
Happens. That's unheard of.
What? I was playing one time. This never happened to me before because I was always super loud. And then we were playing at the Andy Mann's Treehouse years ago.
Yeah.
And they said, you got to turn up, man. It's
I know.
I don't know what to do.
I was told that at one
I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
I know what turned down means.
Right.
The trick was that stage was so small. I'm like, I'm now like feedback is almost overriding my actual signal. So, but fortunately, I held it. I held it at bay.
How many songs?
And only accessed it when I needed to.
How many songs did you say you did?
8.
8 songs for a 30-minute set is what you said?
About
Okay.
there.
Okay.
I heard
Nice.
I
3
heard the phone version of your concert, and from my ears, I thought it sounded very balanced and it sounded great.
Thank you. I appreciate
Nice.
that, Jared. All right. We don't have a 4 on the floor from Mikey, but we do have, we're going to substitute that with sort of the NAM perspective from a builder. We did a little bit of NAM. What?
Did you do a NAM wrap up already?
We did.
Oh,
That was one that you weren't there. But that will, that would be the episode that someone will have already heard by now. That will be released. I'm releasing that in 2-3 days.
The episode was amazing, by the way.
Yes,
Yeah.
it was really good.
must have been.
It was. We did miss you though.
I won't
Anyways,
say it was because Tony wasn't there, but
yeah. But you would have heard it by this time. Anyways, weird time space continuum things. We're not going to drag on the whole NAM thing into March or anything like that. But we have we're in the unique position to have somebody who is actually a builder. That is our friend that we know. So from your perspective, give us your rundown on how you viewed things.
So I think my venture out there was a little bit different than I guess somebody that was just going out there just to kind of see what else was new or what's coming out in the industry.
Like us.
Yeah. And so I kind of went out there kind of more on the objective to kind of network, get to know people in the industry, kind of, just really kind of more geared towards trying to find buyers, for my product and stuff. And ended up turning out to be a success. NAM was 4 days long. I was there from probably 8 to 6 each day.
Holy smokes.
Yeah, 8 to 6 each day, just standing, talking. I think I had somebody at my booth probably every minute. And if I didn't have somebody, I was
You were a very busy dude.
Yeah, I was dragging somebody. I ended up, going there. I had the girlfriend with me too. So, she was running the booth when I wasn't there. I tried to every now and then branch out and kind of, say hi to the neighbors, and other people I kind of knew that were going to be at the show.
How did you have time to shop for rings out there? I don't understand.
Dude,
Okay.
let me tell you. It was complicated. That's what I used to pay for the airplane tickets. So I got to see a couple of your friends too on the show. Copper Sound Pedals.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I got to say hi to Matthew from Matthew Effects.
Great dude.
Let's see, who else did I say?
I on that note, I was
Yeah.
surprised at how many builders that we have had on the show that when we're talking like, oh, have you seen so-and-so? And they're like, I haven't had a chance to go talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And I was like, what a colossal shame,
Oh yeah.
that is.
So
No.
I was going to ask you. So
Yes.
what day did you get out there on Wednesday?
So I got there, on a Wednesday. Now, unlike a lot of other people, I actually stayed more kind of in LA and just
Okay.
did the trip every morning. But the first day we ended
Oh
up,
my gosh.
yeah, I had to, I kind of, that was my only vacation day out in LA. So I kind of, just went and just kind of hung around town and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That first day. But Thursday through Sunday was kind of the more intense days, the NAM days. But like I said, just a bunch of networking. Got to say hi to a lot of people that I haven't said hi to before. And I also got to meet a lot of other people. If I wouldn't have done this, I wouldn't have got to say hi to them. I got to meet, the guys over at Deep Space Devices.
Oh yeah.
Very nice guys, very nice guys. Then I also, just got to meet, there was tons of people, to name everyone would
Yeah, you
take
don't
too
have
long.
to-
But
Everybody's
you know
there.
what? One of the coolest things is like, it felt like, it didn't seem too awkward saying hi to somebody, it's just like, it was like, you know, I mean, you guys know how it is.
You're in a bit of a brotherhood.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
It's like
all these pedal builders seem there does seem to be a lot of camaraderie.
It really is. And, you know, we all have one goal. You know, we love gear, you know, we love music. And so it was easy to really just kind of link up with people and just chat gear. And it was great for me because I got to share my company and, you know, my company's goals and my products, you know, to other people in the industry. So it was a great experience. And that trip that I went on was I didn't have my own personal booth. I actually went with Bilo's Delicious Audio, his Stomp Box booth, which Bilo is an awesome dude, runs Delicious Audio, the blog. Check it out. If you know, he always, I mean, it seems like every day his updating his website with, you know, gear and, you know, anytime company comes out with something, his, you know, putting something on that website. But, so
it was weird seeing you there without your tiny guitar though.
Oh, wasn't it? Oh, gosh, you don't even know.
What I thought was cool though, I mean, I think displaying the way that you did in a group of people,
yes,
I think attracted more attention than if you just would have had your own little tiny booth space off in the corner somewhere.
Well, you know what the coolest thing about that Stomp Box booth is that there's a lot of like kind of hidden gems over there, you know. I know, like, I think almost every one of those guys in that booth have been on this show, and you know, it's something. It's
almost.
Something.
Solid Gold Effects is going to be.
Oh, nice.
And Cooper.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And so, you know, guys like those, you know, it's great because it allows some exposure to their products, you know, because, you know, for, you know, the smaller companies that might not be able to pay for that kind of space, you know, something like this allows them to kind of get their foot in the door. So it was a really great event. And I'm definitely planning on doing a summer NAMM. So cool. I don't know if I'm going to do a booth. I'm not sure. It's a little bit easier to get a booth over there, just price wise. So I might be shooting to do something like that. Another great thing too.
We'll probably be there in a little.
Yes.
Oh, you can have your wife with you.
Yeah.
I mean, your girlfriend. Sorry.
I'm on the fence myself getting a booth there. I'm really contemplating doing that.
Well, I think it'd be great, especially since all your pickups. I have all your pickups in every single one of my guitars.
Yeah, we were talking about ways to help display to let people interact with the pickups. Got a couple good ideas.
Yeah, and I think especially at NAMM, at least, you know, where I walked, unless you guys seen, but I didn't see too many pickup guys, right?
Nope.
No, other
only
than
the big,
Duncan,
the big boys.
Yeah, only the big, you know,
EMG,
only the EMG.
Yeah.
I
went by
DiMarzio,
DiMarzio, but I didn't really see anybody there.
Yeah, and that's the thing. And so,
Jones.
So I think that'd be definitely something awesome to see, because I feel like there wasn't pickups over there.
Like Curtis Novak and a bunch of other pickup guys, Lindy Fralin, they were all there walking around.
Yeah.
Mojo Music Supply, they make pickups. They were just walking around too.
I seen Jared Brandon walking around too.
Oh,
yeah.
Gosh, I
Can't miss him.
Got his signature. You cannot.
It is funny how many comments I got.
I don't know if that's a good or bad thing.
No, people were like, "Holy crap, that guy's like way bigger than I thought he was going to be."
I'm a walking
giant.
booth, man. I am a walking
How does
booth.
he fit in the studio?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but it was great meeting people. It was good seeing you guys there. It felt like it kind of brought me home seeing you guys there. So it was great.
So do you think the money that you spent and the time you spent, do you think it was worthwhile?
Yeah. So I mean, just
you got a ton of exposure.
I got a ton of exposure. But you know what the funny thing about it is it just seems like whatever you put in, that's kind of what you got, because there was other people at that booth that didn't have as much people stopping at their booth. You know, it's kind of the kind of thing, if you're wanting to push out, you know, wanting to try to get that exposure, then I mean, you'll get it if you try. So it was great for me. And I actually, you know, from that, you know, I'm in talks right now with, you know, multiple dealers and stuff. So,
nice.
So it was a really good experience for me and stuff. And, you know, the way I kind of view, you know, from a selling perspective is, you know, you don't know what these pedals sound like until you play them through, with your hands, with your rig. And so, being able to have my pedals, the dealers there, being able to plug in and play and stuff, it was a great opportunity, way more than I think a demo could, give you. But yeah, it was a great experience.
Nice.
I look forward to Summer NAMM.
Right on. Was there a singular highlight that stood out to you?
Singular highlight as far as like what? Like industry wise or just trip wise?
Marijuana was legal out there.
Yeah, I smelled a lot of that.
Did you meet anybody in particular that you're like, wow, okay, that was pretty spectacular?
Yeah, I mean, so I had Robert Keeley. He ended up stopping over at my booth.
Brilliant.
And he was blown away by the Ghost Ridge reverb, and just kind of, if you guys are familiar, the Ghost Ridge is a multi-reverb with 4 different reverb types, and you can have up to 4 different types of reverbs. And I think Jared actually has that pedal.
I have that pedal. I love it. You can program, 4 different programs, and you can hit them.
Exactly.
I mean, it's the best reverb pedal.
2 switches, 2 knobs, nothing crazy. But
easy to use.
Yeah,
That
easy to
is the
use. And
understatement
now,
of
Does
the
it
year.
have a momentary switch?
exactly. I mean, no, not momentary. It has the soft touch switch.
me
If that's
when
what
you
you're
have
asking.
But Todd will never have it if it doesn't have a momentary.
I know, right? So it was great, though. I ended up, from that experience, I ended up, getting home, and I think it was like that. Next Saturday, I had an order come in through my website, and it was Robert Keeley. He bought a Ghost Ridge and stuff.
Frame
Wow.
That's rad.
Yeah,
That's
so I was like,
awesome.
"Oh, that's awesome," and then right now the pedals are out on the websites, or the Rising Sun and Midnight. I'm actually sold out of those, which is awesome. But he ended up, was like, "Hey, let me know when those are available because I'll pick those up," and then gave me his cell phone, and we ended up
Wow,
calling. We called and chatted and stuff. So it was cool.
Is he reverse engineering them now or not?
Yeah, most likely. Nah. But no, it was
No way, man.
it was a great experience, and I do got to say I got to see. It's always great seeing Alex from Copper Sound Pedals. I do a lot of stuff up in the Boston area for another person I work for, and so every when I get a chance, I'll stop by and say hi to Alex. But I seen him at the show, and their booth man was awesome.
They had a good booth.
And to have, and he, he's a guy that's so detail oriented that, their booth was really, pretty sweet. But yeah, man, it was great, just seeing friends and, anybody in the industry.
Nice.
Outstanding. And we're actually going to do a little something with Copper Sound based on that awesome flashlight he made us.
Oh, I seen that flashlight. That is
yes.
killer.
Be looking out for that in the near future, everybody. Well, that's a nice little wrap up. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Michael.
You're welcome.
B+.
Yay.
Keep striving for the A.
I like going to NAMM too, but I wasn't part of the last episode with the NAMM wrap
Oh,
up.
that was very sad. I know. But we don't,
Was there anybody?
Okay, Tony, was there a major highlight? I don't want to go spend the entire thing making this a NAMM recap, but
Tony, let me ask you, was there anybody like doing displaying pit cards over at NAMM?
The only all parts, of course, and
WD was there?
WD was not at the show this year.
Okay.
And then there were a couple of I don't know if they were Chinese or Korean companies that do custom work, but in my world, there's not a lot of people. There's 2 types of pick guard makers.
Yeah.
People that do what I do, like the onesie, twosie, custom stuff, and then the ones that do 1,000 at a time.
Well, to me, you got your hometown hero, donut shop, or you got your Krispy Kreme. You know what I'm saying?
I do like a Krispy Kreme though.
Krispy Kreme is delicious.
They got the hot
I think we need a different metaphor for that.
But what I love about your stuff is you're that guy that's, you're grinding these things down, you're cutting these, these are all handmade. And that's what I was wondering. Is there anybody doing that at NAMM?
I don't see anybody doing that. Certainly not at NAMM. I mean, Jared was over at the shop today, and he got to see, this was a totally custom. This guy had like this sketch of what he wanted. He sent the body in, and I spent, probably the better part of an hour just cutting the master template and then fitting it up and everything. But it's something that does not exist.
Yeah.
And
I just brought in my bass player's bass for like the 6th guard that I got from him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So he's going to do a gold guard for my bass player.
Oh, dude,
golden
that's awesome.
sparkly.
You know who I forgot to mention who we met?
Who's that?
I met this fella named Phil Pennington and Co Schneider. They're the
gonna be on
Flippin' Flippers podcast.
Going to be on.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
And I think we're actually one of the highlights. I mean, Curtis Novak and I usually do get together whenever we can at the NAMM shows.
That was really special.
We had a really nice dinner with Curtis and his daughter, and it was a great little Italian restaurant, and we've got to chat it up a little bit. I think Curtis is going to be a guest on a future episode, and he's just such a wealth of knowledge. I mean, he just.
I don't think he stopped talking for 2 hours.
I don't think so.
Well, fantastic. But we were all sponges. We were like, yeah, lay it on us, man.
I kind of hijacked the first half of that whole dinner. Him and I were just pick up this and pick up that and pickups. And
yeah, it was a little pickup heavy.
It was pickup heavy, but it should have been because we can't help it.
No, it was great.
It's not every day you talk to somebody else.
Yeah, and he's got a special place in the guitar world, so he was sharing a lot of great stories. But I kept on having to say, stop. Tell us that on the actual show.
Yeah, right. I mean, if we had the tape rolling, we would have had the episode already done.
Yeah.
It's really interesting stuff.
Part 1 and 2.
Yeah. And we were stuffed. Anyways, I think that's the last everybody's going to hear about NAMM for this
until summer.
Until summer. Yeah. So anyways, let's get on with finding out a little bit more about Mikey Trombley. I always call him Mikey. Sorry, I don't know. I hope
you're fine.
That's not
Michael, Mikey, whatever.
Stephen Trombley.
Stephen Trombley. I will say they had my name tag at NAMM as Michael, and I think that was because I typed it in, but I felt so official saying Michael.
Yeah. I think you should change your name to Travis. Travis Trombley.
Travis Trombley.
That sounds like a little.
You could be a country music legend.
That's a total. Yeah. So anyways, enough about that.
Trombley.
Mike, you were an early guest on our show. And
that I was.
We connected. We had a great time when you were actually on the show. We still get people asking about like, where did Mike go? People who are going backwards in the catalog, which I encourage. If you're a new user, we got 1120 episodes, man. Depending on when you're hearing this, it's probably a lot more, but skip the first 10. Yeah, good idea.
The vintage tapes.
too far back. But Mike was a great guest, and I was so blown away. I actually shared this story on the last episode, so you'll have to listen to the last episode to hear it. That means you, Mike, to hear it when it goes live. So I won't rehash that, but I'm glad you're back. Your previous company, Red House Electronics, was doing very, very well.
Yeah.
And you had some really innovative ideas and thinking. And then out of nowhere, poof, you're a different company. So tell us all about that.
Well, I think the idea actually originally started back when, back in the summer, I try to make it out to, where I grew up over in Montana, out on the reservation. And
for those who don't know,
yeah. So for those of you who don't know, I'm Native American, and I was born and raised on the Blackfeet Reservation. So, which is right next to Glacier National Park. So, my tribe was lucky enough to, I was lucky enough to be born or raised in, a beautiful area. But, anyways, just a short synopsis of my life, about 14, I ended up moving over here to Ohio, and then, went to school went to high school, and then in college I got my undergrad and master's in electrical engineering. During that time, I was a musician. So what I decided to do is combine the two. And now you got native audio.
You glaze over that pretty quick. But one of the big reasons you're leaving the show early on is because you were getting your master's in electrical engineering. Like,
yes.
You're not a guy who's like, I'm going to attempt to build you're hyper engineering pedals.
Yeah, so
on a microscopic level with digital shenanigans. Right. So just
at the time I was dabbling in the podcast. I was doing podcasts. I was also playing at multiple places, and then I was doing doing school work, all that junk. So it got pretty chaotic. So I had to kind of back down from a couple obligations.
And you got a fiance.
Yeah. But but yeah, so I was out in Montana this past summer, and ended up going out there, and it's so nice being out there. And then I came back, and just being around family, being around we had North American Indian Days in Browning, which is it's what it is. I kind of describe it as a county fair with a powwow. That's a good way to put it. But what it is, it's a powwow. And so just having those kind of just being around my heritage, and all that stuff, it just kind of made me further emphasize kind of my products and what I've been kind of displaying in my products. And so,
you were hinting to that early on, by the pedal names that you had were all referencing parts of your heritage.
Exactly.
I remember having a very long conversation with you in Chicago about this.
Yeah. And so it just kind of, my products, I have the Running Wolf, which is actually, is my mom's whole side of the family. Their last name's Running Wolf. And, Ghost Ridge, which is, actually, it was towards, when my tribe actually ended up having to declare dependency on the government, it was because the buffalo ended up kind of dying out. And that year, 25% of my tribe ended up passing away, and they had nowhere to bury the bodies. And so they buried them at Ghost Ridge, which is about 20 miles outside of my hometown. So that's kind of where Ghost Ridge comes from. So all these pedals kind of play a part in my heritage. But what I kind of... The eagle feather. And what I kind of noticed was, okay, all these products are hinting at my Native American heritage. But then you have the name Red House Electronics, which to me just,
disconnect.
It disconnected. For one, the name was really long. Two, the logo just didn't fit the other pedals. And so initially when I started, it kind of just seemed like the branding ended up taking this direction. So it almost seemed like it was natural for the name to change too. To evolve. And so at that time I ended up asking, other people, hey, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? I was like, but the thing was, I wanted the name short, and then I wanted it to be clean, simple, just kind of to reflect the product itself, because the product itself has grown into its own kind of little unit. So then it wasn't till I think October I ended up finally switching Red House Electronics, switched over to Native Audio. And
once no small task, by the way, changing an entire business name.
Oh gosh, it was not a small task. And what was great too was I ended up working it out great. It just ended up working out perfectly with my dealers and stuff. The biggest thing about doing a rebranding is, one, not losing your following, because you end up developing this community around your product. And, Jared and Tony can you have your people. One, I was like, oh gosh, you start thinking, what are people going to think about this? And I just kind of had that reassuring thought, like, this product, the branding, everything's kind of been me. Kind of reflection of like my ideas and stuff. So I was like, well, what's any different than the name wanting to be something that, I want. Sure. And so from that, I ended up doing the name change, and I ended up working out with my dealers. My dealers were really awesome as far as, I ended up doing like, swapping the products out and all this other stuff. They helped that, go perfectly. And I just got a great response from the community. Everyone that I've seen at the guitar shows that knew me as Red House, they're like, dude, I love the name change. I just think it's a little bit more of the product, so they,
right. Everybody's waiting for that.
Yeah, I know. It fits. So it was, it was just great, hearing, responses from, the other people, because it's kind of that reassuring, like, it was a good move, but it was a hectic couple of months, trying to do the whole swap. And it wasn't an easy task, but I finally
Stickers, shirts,
that's the easy part. It's all the legal.
All the legal stuff, and also trying to create the logo and all that other stuff. But, Alex, my design guy from at wolf.bomb on Instagram, he ended up helping me out so much with the design and stuff. And it just kind of all fit into place. And now at this point, I'm kind of done kind of shifting the rebranding. And now I can kind of more focus on designing and coming up with new ideas for my products.
That's awesome.
Cool.
Man.
Yeah.
So speaking of new designs and new products and whatnot, I know that you've made some adjustments to your current line and you're working on new pedals. So give us a lowdown on where you're going with
that. So coming back from NAMM, you kind of just feel refreshed. You kind of, you see all the people doing like new stuff, all that stuff. And, that stuff kind of, to me, it inspires me. And it's like, man, I got to really kind of step up my game. But it's a good feeling. And so coming back from NAMM and just talking to, people and displaying my products, I kind of seen some improvements that I could do myself. So one of the things that I'm going to be doing here in the next month is I'm going to be updating my phaser. Right now, my phaser has has 5 knobs and then like 3 toggle switches. Back to the point I was making with my products. I love my products being easy to use, intuitive, but they offer a lot of functionality and a wide range of sounds. So what I'm doing is I'm actually dropping the 2 switches and keeping the 5 knobs and stuff. So, and it fits in a little bit better with the product line. And another thing that I'm doing is I'm actually working on a delay, and it's been probably the most requested effect out of
how you
all
haven't
my
had a
stuff.
delay is like really weird.
And but the thing is I didn't want to just come out with a delay just to come out with a delay. I had to come out with a delay that you look at it and you're like, yeah, that's native audio. So this new delay that I'm coming out with, it's an analog voiced delay. So it's not an analog delay, but you're able to get kind of the frequency range and kind of the impurities that you would of a analog delay. But you get kind of your typical analog controls like mix, feedback, but you also get modulation depth and modulation rate control, all slammed into that small package. But
this is a digital pedal,
exactly. Yeah,
right.
Yeah, so
just making that.
Yeah, so it's a digital pedal, but it sounds it's
right.
voiced like an analog pedal. And but one of the cool things,
I remember when we were talking on the phone, you're like, bro, you don't even know, bro, you don't even know it's digital, but it sounds like analog. It's perfect, bro.
Yeah, I have a very extensive vocabulary, bro. Insert nerd terminology. But yeah, so and this thing has been, it's been in the works for a couple months now. And, a couple of people are kind of like on my hot contact list. Like there's somebody I always bounce ideas off. One of the people being Eric Marrow from Eric Marrow on YouTube. Yep. Check his videos out. Awesome. His awesome, awesome videographer. And, but anyways, he's one of the guys I kind of bounce ideas off of. And then another one's Sean Gibson,
from the Reel.
Yeah. The Noise Reel. And so, I have a lot of people out in the industry that I'm kind of bouncing ideas off, and one of the things was I wanted to do a tap delay. And so, so I ended up doing this, once I ended up getting the, tap delay to work, I was like, all right, this is cool, but what makes this unique? What makes this separate from all the other tap delays? And I was like, man, I really have to slap that native audio feel to it. So,
momentary switch.
So I ended up asking people. I was like,
make it gold.
And the one thing was like, do I put a delay time knob on here? Like, because I feel like pedals that have tap on them, are you really messing around with that delay time knob that much?
That's assuming everybody's using a tap delay too.
Exactly. And so, but there's and back to that point is, not everyone's using a tap delay. So I was like, but I got to find out some way to really integrate like a individual time control knob on here. And, but I got to do it the way native audio would do it, the way I would do it. And, so I ended up kind of, with all my other products, I have the tap and ramp mode, which ramp is kind of reflects the kind of functionality of like a Leslie rotary speaker. You have your slow speed, fast speed, and it kind of bounces between the two. And so I was like, man, that would be awesome to put on a pedal or put on a delay because, as musicians, we start getting really wonky with our delays. you see a lot of people turn the feedback up and then turn the delay time to get some really kind of oscillating, wah, 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 wah. Sounds. And so I was like, oh man, that would be really cool to incorporate on my pedal. Well, so I ended up coming out with the ramp functionality, which, you know, you can choose a slow delay, fast delay, and you can bounce between the two. And it sounds really cool because what it sounds like is you're bouncing between two different positions, you know, on a delay time. So yeah, I'm still finalizing a couple other things, and hopefully I'll have it out by April, I think.
Rad. Excellent.
Yeah, man.
What, do we have a name for this yet?
No, not yet. I think you seen it at NAMM. It was literally a blank. Was, I'm going with the kind of, turquoise kind of green looking color, kind of like a darker kind of green, but,
on a sort of a graphite colored case.
Yeah. So the black textured. And so, but yeah, at NAMM, I wanted to have something to display to the people, you know? So I ended up just getting that printed up and stuff, but, I'm just kind of fine tuning the hardware and working on the design coming up here in the next couple weeks.
Well, Mikey, it looks like you're at the end of your quart-sized Monster energy drink. So we appreciate you sharing your story and getting everybody updated on, you know, what's going on with Red House, what happened to Red House, and now your Native Audio. And
I like the new name, the new angle. It's I think
thank you guys. Yeah, I'm excited. You know, I'm pumped for you know, what this year has in store, and I'm even more pumped to you know, get new product out there.
Yeah. Well, that's good because we need it. All right, peoples. Jared.
Well, everyone, hold on to your hats because now it's time for Would You Rather?
All right.
Today's Would You Rather is brought to us by Walter Larimore, and he is on Instagram.
He I was talking with him on Instagram. He shared a nice little comment about our last episode, or formerly last episode. And I said, hey, do you have a would you rather you'd like to hear? And boom, he gave it to us.
Nice.
So that's how it works around here.
Well, check this out. So following a do-it-yourself accident, which you damaged the neck pickup on your Telecaster, you need to replace it and decide to change things up a bit. Would you rather install a P90? Or would you rather have like a PAF like humbucker?
Okay, so that's going in the neck position?
Yes, it is.
See, now that my favorite Telecaster substitute pickup was not mentioned there, which would be a Filtertron.
Wide range?
No, a Filtertron to me, I think a Filtertron.
That's not the would you rather, Tony.
I understand, but I'm doing this under protest.
Okay. Oh my gosh.
No, I'm not. That's actually a good idea.
That's a good question. All right, so what are you going to do, Antoine?
What are my choices again?
Antoine Maloney.
P90, or PAF in the neck position of a Telecaster.
I mean, I do like P90s, but I think in a Telecaster, a humbucker, a PF style humbucker actually works really well.
Let's give just a brief. You just clarified. You said a humbucker, and then you said, well, a PAF style.
Right. Well, I mean, humbuckers can be, you know, from everything from a typical, like a vintage style, all the way up to like a JB or something that's just super, super high output.
Yeah, the choice was just a PAF style.
Yeah, I mean, a PAF style, I
nice
think,
and creamy.
It's got Alnico magnets. It's got, I mean, those
original
generally
humbucker.
Yeah, that actually replaced the P90.
Well, that's debatable,
right? The PAF replaced the PAF replaced the P90 at the Gibson factory.
Yeah,
and then they brought the P90s back actually in the early '60s, and they put them on their junior models, on their lower end models. But the difference is pretty much the PAF has two coils, and there's no hum noise. There's no 60 cycle.
Right.
And the P90 has that single cycle hum, but they're around the same output.
So Seth Lover is known for the Gibson and the PAF. Mm-hmm. There was also in the Gretsch world, actually the Filtatron predated the Gibson PAF. What was his name?
They wired it different though, right?
I think they are wired differently.
Yeah, they wired it parallel instead of in
series. It's still the same idea that it is 2 coils, reverse wound, reverse polarity.
Just a bit outside.
But anyhow, so I'll go with the Filtatron.
Okay.
No. I'll stick to the PAF style. Yeah. It's a good substitute. Obviously, you have to route the body a little bit more. But it's still in my experience that has been probably that would be a better replacement than a P90.
Okay, Jared,
PAF all the way. There's no comparison
for the neck position.
For the neck position,
okay.
Yes, and it would be a very low.
I know that you do love a P90.
I absolutely do,
but not in the neck position of a Telecaster.
Not in the Telecaster.
All right,
that's correct.
Well, let me ask you this: what kind of style would you be playing if you had like a P90 versus a PAF?
Bridge position.
Just bridge
style
position.
Music.
Yeah, what kind of style of music?
I just taped the switch to the bridge position.
Right.
That's a legit question.
That's
Rolling
a legit
Stones.
question. Rolling Stones.
Yeah.
Macabre.
Yep.
Macabre.
That's
okay.
That's
the famous Telecaster with the
PAF and
PAF. Okay.
Yeah, but he was asking about P90s.
Yeah.
No, I was actually wanting to know kind of a compare and contrast of the what kind of styles would be
who
associated.
might we have heard that had a P90 and a Telecaster?
No one.
Oh boy.
No one.
I don't know.
Well,
here's the problem with putting a P90 in a Telecaster is you are moving the center.
He's shaking a crooked finger at me, by the way.
It's crooked, damn it. You are moving the center of the pickup further away from the neck.
Yeah.
Compared to where the Tele neck pickup normally is.
Right.
Versus one of the PAF coils is in about the same spot.
Yeah.
So that would make it a little bit more.
It would make it less right.
Make it less right. It would sound like
it
would start to sound more like a middle position.
I mean, marginally.
Yeah.
I mean, it's still a neck position, so you're still going to get the same.
It is marginal.
But if you subscribe to the theory of the neck pickup should be placed on the third harmonic, which is where it sits on a Telecaster or a Strat.
You know what? That's a brand new theory. I've honestly never heard that.
Yeah, I haven't heard that either.
Oh, you haven't heard that?
Well, that's amazing. We just learned something.
I know.
It's where the 24th fret would be on a Telecaster is where
that's the third harmonic.
Okay. It's a third harmonic. So 12th, ding, and then if you go up right above the neck pickup, it goes ding.
There's a third octave on the.
Well, how about that?
Yeah.
I hope everybody out there who's listening right now just learned a little bit of something.
I mean, I literally just learned.
I just learned
You guys didn't know that?
No,
I didn't.
No, I didn't know. Yeah,
I really didn't.
The terminology. Plus, I've never thrown these in my Telecaster.
Well, it doesn't.
That I don't
so
have.
when you go home,
just
pick up a guitar, do the 12th fret harmonic.
Okay.
Then go
with
up
my
to
Jared Ryan pickups.
Yeah,
12 more.
and then go about where halfway further up, where about the 24th fret would be, and do another harmonic.
Okay, I have to go home and try that.
Yeah.
Well, from what they said, I think I actually might go with the PF. I just want something that will be a lot smoother. I'm assuming it'll be probably as compared to the P90, it's going to be less fizzy. I guess with that,
it's going to be less bright.
Yeah, less bright. I just want something, especially in the neck position. In the neck position, I'm looking for something that's a little bit smoother, something a little bit more warmer, and I think that's what the PAF will deliver. So,
totally
for me, PAF.
All right, me too. I'm going to go PAF. Sorry, everybody. I was going to do P90 just to be contrary, but no, I would have to agree with that, especially with the new knowledge that I just learned. So that's neato. All right, so that's maybe the first unanimous one.
I believe it is probably the first. We'll have to go back through the previous 123 episodes and see.
Everybody out there, go through them all and let us know if we're right or wrong.
Yeah, that's a great idea. Okay. Woo, doggies. Well, this has been a whole lot of fun. Tony, we got a few people to take care of real quick.
We do?
We do.
Oh, our executive producers.
That's correct.
I love this section.
This is my favorite section too. And I'm told
That's 'cause
that
you get to talk the longest.
I'm told that because of the stories that I tell, that not only are more people becoming Patreon members, but some are actually increasing their amounts that
They're
are
just bribing me to edit more.
Patreonizing.
Yes.
Well, they like Tony's story.
Well, let's just say, let's just get it over with. Let's just say you want to support a program that you dearly love.
Yeah.
Mike, do you want to support a program that you dearly love?
Of course.
Okay.
How do I support?
Okay, Mike, let me tell you. You would go to patreon.com/the Guitar Knobs, and you will find many different levels that you can help participate in.
At least 4.
At least 4 last count.
Where do you guys start out at?
$1,
$1,
which goes up to $5.
$5,
Then $10.
$10,
And then if you really want, you can do a 20.
or $1 million.
And actually, to be honest, we've had, like I mentioned before, we had a couple people who like basically bridged the gap and just made up their own numbers, which is
That's awesome
too.
Yeah.
In the middle.
So what's it worth? That's what I guess you just asked.
You
What's
can do
it?
$10.01.
But at every level, you get these great prize packages, things from little barefoot buttons and stickers and guitar picks and
Buttons.
T-shirts and you name it. But
And you get a
Scrumpets.
podcast too.
And
That's
you
phenomenal.
get a free 1 hour and 15 minute plus, usually more than that, hour podcast almost dang every week of the whole dang year.
That's right.
dang.
It's a lot of dangs.
But when you become an executive producer, in addition to all these great things and the feeling that you feel in the cockles of your heart,
You get to have your name read on the thing.
that's right, Jared. You get your name read on the thing. And that's what I'm going to do right now.
Let's do it.
So I think I'm going to go from newest to oldest.
Okay.
Let's welcome on board Michael Senchuk.
Hey, Michael.
Welcome.
Brian Robison, Jonathan Jerusik, Ken Sayers, Corey Nigro, Doug Gann, Brad Partridge, Michael Van Zant, Doug Christ, Darren Gregory, Robert Marfleet, John Anglin, Chris Kearney, Sean S. Oliver Gonzalez, who we met at NAMM.
Yep, you bet.
That's right.
Good to see you. John Daly, Robin Smith, Pete Marshall, Carlos Mancha, Matt Brammer, David Wolfson, Martin Cliff, and Tom Barazin. Oh, we also met Corey Nigro at the
You bet.
NAMM.
I was going to go back and hit that one, but I was
Yeah.
going to let you finish first.
Yes. Thank you all so very much. I mean, we really do appreciate
Yes, sir.
all the help that we get.
Yep. It absolutely helps us 100%. So, Mike,
Yes.
where can people find you these days?
You can find me at Instagram at Native Audio, and just head over there. I usually update a photo every single day. If you feel like contacting me, go to nativeaudio.us. I'd love to chat.
Tony Baloney,
Yes.
where can people find you?
Well, let's say you're just at your wit's end trying to figure out how you're going to fit this P90 into a Telecaster pickguard.
Or a PAF.
Or
Or
a-
4 PAFs.
or at least 2 PAFs.
Yes.
Just go over to pickguardian.com
Mhm.
and you can contact me, take a look at some of the things that I've been doing. Go over to Instagram and see some of the projects I've been working on. That's the Pick Guardian and the number 1.
That's right.
And there's some things on Facebook and all. But yeah, if you have questions, just ask. Drop me an email. Send me a text.
Direct message on Instagram. That'll work. Yeah.
Yeah, I get a lot of those too. So
All right.
just let me know what you need, and I'm pretty sure I can help you out.
That's right. Jared?
Well, if anybody needs some new pickups or new old looking pickups, come to BrandonWildPickups.com, and I also do repairs and get them out the door pretty quickly. Hit me up if you need something new.
Yes, I just got a new set of PAF style pickups
Excellent.
Oh, yes.
from Jared today.
Are
Brilliant.
you going to put them in your telly?
No, I'm not. I'm not putting them in my telly.
New nickel covers, too.
Yeah.
It's like
Ooh.
jewelry.
It's
Spicy.
yes, it is.
Excellent. You can shoot me a message directly on Instagram if you like. You can also send an email to Todd@theguitarknobs.com. Everybody, we thank you for listening. We really appreciate your support. We love hearing comments from you, and we're glad that you're out there listening. Have a great Guitar Week, and subscribe!
Same damn thing.
Here you go. Okay, hang on.
Have fun editing this one.
Oh, my God.
Jesus.
And it's not us, it's you this time.
I know. Well, that's it for these knobs. Please visit our Patreon page at patreon.com/theguitarknobs. Visit our website at theguitarknobs.com for all of our past episodes, 4 on the Floor blog, and other good stuff. You can connect with us on social too at our Facebook page and share your gear and stories on our Facebook group. Also, be sure to check out our Instagram at Guitar Knobs. Catch you next time.